my name is Flying Elite, and welcome back to another tank review. I'm changing my format again on reviews, as I'd like to make content for both veteran players, as well as the newer players or recruits as I've labelled them, who may need further information on the do's and the don'ts on the tank. Today we're going to take a look at the WZ111 Alpine Tiger, which is a reskinned version of the WZ111 that you can already buy in the store from time to time. Taking a look through the stats, I'll tell you what I think this tank is like, and if it's worth competing to get one, or if you should go to the store and just buy the non-skinned variant. The gun is a 122mm copy of the D25T. However, the only difference between them is that the Chinese copy has heat shells available, which give it a higher penetration on its gold rounds. The standard armor piercing round has an average penetration of 175mm, which used to be decent until about a year or so ago, so you need to be aware of what you're shooting at, as you'd be lucky to pen most of what you come up against these days. However, good news when you get to the heat rounds, as they have an average penetration of 250mm, which gives you a much better chance at handling anything you come up against. The gun isn't very accurate, being a copy of the D25T, and so it has a .44 dispersion, which means you need to fully aim all the time to have a shell hit the target. Aim time is also pretty bad at 3 seconds flat, which means that often you'll be sitting still longer than you'd like before being fully aimed. Going to the armor, the Alpine Tiger is no slouch when it comes to armor effectiveness. Both frontal and side armor is 120mm thick, so you can side scrape off buildings and also hold down pretty well, seeing as the frontal turret armor is at 230mm frontal and 120 side. However, the cupolas are fairly large, so be sure to wiggle your turret a lot when reloading, as you'll most likely lose your commander. Looking at the mobility of the Alpine, we see it's fairly mobile, but not very agile, which means you have a good top speed, but you don't accelerate very fast, so careful when going up inclines. There's not too much to say about the concealment on this tank, as it really doesn't have much in the way of concealment. You have to really play this thing on the front lines for it to be effective, and you can't really hide it at all. Spotting is also pretty poor on the Alpine due to a 380m base view range, so it'll be wise to play on the front lines at all times and encourage your team to spot with you. All in all, the Alpine Tiger is still just a copy of the WZ111, and that was released years ago, and in my opinion, both are not very competitive anymore, mostly because of tanks like the Defender and the VK1001 being introduced. However, if you feel like you need to get a tier 8 Chinese heavy tank crew trainer, do compete for this thing, as it can treat you very well, and be prepared to press 2 a lot. However, the only upside to the tank is that it's preferential matchmaking, so you can abuse tier 6s and tier 7s with this. In the description of the video, I'll leave a link to an Alpine Tiger reskin for the regular 111 if you want the look of the tank without feeling like you should compete for it. And now, since the review is over, I'll demonstrate some of the basic tactics you should use while using the Alpine Tiger or regular 111.